You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Exploring the multiverse of pop culture.
This is Podcasserole.
An Adam and JP show.
Hey, it's Podcasserole. That's Adam. I'm JP.
What episode is this? We don't know.
254?
I couldn't resist.
254?
We do so many and so often, so frequently, we don't know what number we're on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. That's
know,
true.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be to 300 before you know it.
I had a podcast. I think it's done to episode 4. I mean, that's the way it works.
What podcast was that?
The Marital Games podcast.
Oh, is it done?
It's been a few weeks. And we know what's going to happen. You know how podcasts, we've seen not only ones we've done, but our friends and our peers, and they get excited about it. And you have to go into a podcast knowing that it could end at any moment.
I had a Walking Dead podcast that lasted through a terrible season of Fear the Walking Dead.
That was when that was happening, wasn't it?
And that pretty much ended that podcast.
Is that what happened?
We should have waited and done it like during the regular season of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
A little disclosure here. Adam's sick.
Oh, yeah. I do have the sniffles.
So if you hear him sniff or cough,
just hang with me.
Just be forgiving.
I sound funny.
And what are you taking for this?
Right now, nothing's in my system. I've had some Hall's cough drops.
Sugar-free?
Sugar-free.
What's the side effects of those?
Man, much like any sugar-free candy, if you have too many sugar-free Halls, you will shat yourself. I had no idea until I was like a bag deep.
Now, we were talking before we started recording. I was a big Luden's cough drop fan myself.
Yeah, I used to fake a sore throat in elementary school, so my mom would buy me those. They're like candy. They're delicious.
They are candy.
I mean, really.
I don't think there's any...
Does nothing for your throat.
Medicinal value to a Luden's cough drop whatsoever.
But you look at the caloric content of an actual Hall's cough drop, like a normal one has quite a bit of sugar to it to kind of mask that flavor. So I thought the sugar-free would be the way to go. But I guess with Hall's, you can have one after another.
Yeah.
With the sugar-free, man, 1 an hour. Believe me, I
That's
promise.
your limit.
Yeah.
You've lost like 15 pounds this week.
Well,
Hell.
I'm a Hall's drop. Hall's drop the weight. What's your favorite flavor of Hall's?
Hall's? Oh,
I'm looking for one answer here. One answer is the best.
The honey?
Oh,
The honey Halls?
good God.
The honey Halls?
Oh.
I like a good honey Halls.
What do you keep a roll of butter rum lifesavers in your pocket?
Maybe.
My dad always does.
Those are pretty good.
They still he used to. They still make butter rum lifesavers.
I'm sure they do. And Werther's Originals?
Oh,
those
yeah.
are fantastic.
I love Werther's.
If you can take Werther's for a cough, that would be the...
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
I feel like that would make the phlegm, like a caramel-flavored phlegm, may not be good.
I don't know.
Maybe. Could add some realism to it.
It could be tasty. So what's your flavor of Halls?
Cherry all day.
Oh, cherry.
Be it black or wild or normal. I like it all.
That's pretty average.
What is a wild cherry flavor? What does it mean to be wild?
I don't know.
I mean, is that a thing? And what's a black cherry? Is a black cherry a real object?
Yeah, I think it's got a... I think in nature, like a black cherry as opposed to a regular cherry is sweet, but it also has a little bit of a bite to it that the regular cherry doesn't.
Really?
Or maybe it's the opposite.
I don't know if I can taste that in the black cherry flavor.
Maybe the black cherry is sweeter than a regular cherry. Yeah.
Darker the cherry, the berry or cherry, the sweeter the juice, right? Cherry or berry, whatever the saying is.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense. The black cherry is sweeter. Didn't know this.
Yeah.
I just talked it out myself.
This isn't scientific. We don't know. We're just guessing.
What about pink lemonade? What's adding the pink to the lemons in the lemonade?
Pink lemonade.
I've never known. These are questions I've never had answered.
I don't know. I don't know what makes pink lemonade.
I enjoy pink lemonade much more than lemonade.
Probably more sugar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Pink is a darker color than yellow.
And now, what's the drink named after the golfer?
Arnold Palmer.
The honor, yeah. Arnold Palmer.
The honorary Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
The honorary Arnold Palmer.
That's tea and lemonade, right?
Yeah.
There's no alcohol in that. It's just tea and lemonade.
I'm sure someone does, but that's the John Daly. I just made that up. Let's make that a drink.
Hey, this episode brought to you by the ESO Amazon store. You can find that at esopodcast.com. Go do your Amazon shopping, and a little bit comes back to the ESO Broadcast Network.
I hear on Amazon you can now buy fidget spinners. You don't have to go to the black market at someone's front porch.
I've got some feedback from your black market episode.
Oh, yeah? Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
You know I'm a collector, right?
Fidget spinners.
You know, I brought you the one fidget spinner last week.
Oh, no. Did you get another?
You have to get a different color variety.
You
have to have multiples.
Did you buy that on somebody's front porch?
No. I finally found these at Kroger, the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many do you own now? Be honest.
Myself or my household?
Your household.
3.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 2 for me, 1 for the wife.
Okay. So you put you 2 fist the fidget spinners.
I'm getting pretty good though. I can double fist.
Look at these tricks.
But they're only $5 and the exact same brand as I bought from Joe Schmo on his front porch.
That you paid $6 for.
For $6. I go to Kroger, had to pay some sales tax, about $5.40-ish or so.
Yeah.
And got one at Kroger.
So what's the retail listed price? Because Tennessee has a humongous sales tax.
Oh, so what, 0.925 or 0.0925?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But we don't have a state income tax.
Right.
So I can live with the sales tax.
Yeah. So it's about $5.45-ish a piece compared to $6.
So.
But you have, I have a.
So it was like $4.50.
What's that?
Was that the price?
Well, it was $5 before tax.
Oh, okay.
So $5.45-ish, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. I'm terrible with math.
Yeah. What it is. But it seems like it's better quality. The one I bought at Kroger, it seems like the same brand and same box. This is better quality.
It's a better plastic?
Yeah, it's a heavier. Feel the weight there. This is great for podcasting. Feel the weight of my fidget spinner. That's a good weight, right?
Yeah. It seems unbalanced. I think you need to get this aligned.
I need to get it rotate or fixed in line.
Yeah, I think it's not balanced
so
correctly.
give it a spin.
Yeah, okay.
Yours is much smoother.
It does.
I think because
better ball bearings.
Your center is good in there. It's intact. Mine can come out. My center can be moved around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the Fidget Spinner podcast.
Wow.
Doesn't it feel better? The red one feels better, right?
No.
You don't think so?
They feel the same.
What? To the untrained finger.
No, I do think the red one is a little more balanced than the green one.
I've tested them out. I've hit them both at the same time at the same speed. Red one lasts longer every time.
Do you think maybe you have too much free time?
Maybe.
Hey, JP, what'd you do this week? I worked like 60 hours. Adam, what did you do? I spent 3 hours testing the balance of fidget spinners.
You probably do the same. I have a lot of rendering time for my video work I do. So that time, instead of literally watching an actual meter fill up, I'm going to hit my fidget spinner for a round. That's what I'm going to do.
Here we go. If you want to help us out, we have a Patreon page.
We do. Patreon.com. Is it /podcastroll?
/podcastroll.
That is the one.
And if you go there, the latest archive, $1 a month, gets you access to our archives.
What a deal.
And the latest archive to go on the Patreon page is actually our first visit to Dragon Con.
Was it the very first one?
Very first one.
Wow, 2013?
2013.
Wow.
We came back from our very first Dragon Con, and we did a radio show, and we did a podcast. And that's all available as one almost 2-hour file.
Wow.
So
that's pretty fun.
You can find all that. While we were at that Dragon Con in 2013, we scored an interview with author Timothy Zahn. Very famous for doing the second, or actually the first trilogy of Star Wars books that back in the early 90s were considered canon. Now that Disney owns Star Wars, they got rid of all the extended universe, and they're rebuilding their canon as they go along.
Yeah.
And some of the characters that were from the old extended universe have made their way over to the new Star Wars canon universe. And we knew we were in the process of that in 2013. Disney had just bought Lucasfilm. And so we posed the question to Timothy Zahn about what characters he created that we may see in the brand new Star Wars universe.
Way more talent at Lucasfilm and Disney than, I have no idea if they're going to pick and choose anything from the expanded universe, my stuff or anybody else's. The pattern with the prequels was they would pick various little bits and pieces. The double-bladed lightsaber was Kevin J. Anderson's. The catching Force lightning on a lightsaber blade was mine. They've got this whole, we've got probably 200-plus books now, novels they can pick and choose, they can mine stuff for. And there's a lot of good stuff in all those books. And I'm hoping some of it will show up in the movies. If not the sequels, maybe a spin-off movie. As I've been pointing out to people, even if people who want to see the Thrawn trilogy on the big screen, at this point it's not likely to happen. On the other hand, Disney owns 4 TV networks, and they got to fill the space there sometime.
Yeah, that's true.
And I could see 5 or 10 years down the line, as the movies are going great, that, ABC is going to do a miniseries, the Thrawn trilogy miniseries. You could get new actors, or with CGI getting the way it is, you could do it all animated. It would be very cool. And we also, if wishes were horses, the other thing we would like to see is a Thursday night or Tuesday night lineup on ABC of Jedi Knights X-Wing Squadron and the Mara Jade Chronicles.
There you go.
And we figure ABC would own that night, whichever one they pick.
For sure. And there's talk, I mean, they keep throwing around, we want to do a Star Wars TV show. So.
And Disney's got the resources to make that happen. I think one of the reasons Lucas never got to a live-action TV was it was just too expensive.
Right.
Well, the mouse has got deep pockets.
Wow.
So here
funny.
we are, 5 or so years after that interview. I guess 4 years after the interview. His character Thrawn, that had been removed from the expanded universe, has been brought back. Timothy Zahn had a brand new Thrawn book that came out just a few weeks ago that's part of the Star Wars canon. His character Thrawn is on the TV show Rebels, which is an animated Star Wars TV show, like he alludes to. And there is rumor that once we get through the current trilogy of Star Wars movies, we may see Thrawn leave Rebels, like survive the Rebels season of this year, and actually come back in a new trilogy a few years down the line.
Wow. Do you think he knew at that point during that interview? You don't think he knew?
I don't think he was being honest.
He was hoping, yeah.
I think at that point they didn't know what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, his characters have shown up just like he predicted on the Star Wars cartoon on I guess it's on the Disney Channel.
I think so.
It makes sense it'd be on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
A Disney XD, yeah. The Rebels show.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's confusing. I mean, I'm taking nothing away from him, but it's weird that out of all the massive extended universe characters and storylines, that Thrawn was one that stood out. I'm glad it was. Everyone loves him and knows he's great. It's just weird there's so many more they haven't brought in, which, I mean, we're still early on in the Disney Star Wars timeline, so that may happen eventually.
Well, I don't think they're going to bring in, was it the Mary Jade character?
Margaret, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see her show up. Am I right? Is that the character?
Yeah, Mara Jade.
Mara Jade,
yeah.
I don't think you're going to see her show up. There was a lot with, like, the twins that Han and Leia had that, I don't think they'll acknowledge. I mean, they did have one kid, Kylo Ren, which is totally different from what he wrote
did they?
in Heir to the Empire. That's true. Did they? We don't know.
It's very possible,
It's true.
What if Rey is the long-lost twin of Kylo Ren?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Now I'm hearing all this stuff that Rey may turn to the dark side.
They always tease that.
And then Vanity Fair released the Star Wars. They do every new Star Wars movie since The Phantom Menace. Vanity Fair has done a huge cover and spread. And that came out this week in celebration of Star Wars' 40th anniversary. And Benicio del Toro is in The Last Jedi. And there's a theory that his character, like they refer to him as DJ, that's just code for Dark Jedi.
Oh, wow.
That he may actually be a Dark Jedi.
That'd be nice.
In the new movie. So he's in it. Laura Dern is in the photo spread. We haven't seen anything about her character.
Yeah, not at all.
From The Last Jedi. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And there's some really sweet pictures of Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Those are rough to watch, to look at.
Yeah, and I think the cover is even Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
So, staying in Lucasfilm, this past week, 30 years later, you get caught up on one of the greatest trilogies in movie history.
I did, yeah.
And that is the Indiana Jones films.
Right.
It's been a running gag on this show that you've never seen an Indiana Jones movie.
That's funny, right?
And you watched Raiders, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade.
I haven't watched Last Crusade yet.
You haven't watched
I meant
Last
to,
Crusade.
but I've only watched the first two.
All right, well, give me your thoughts quickly on... Here's Adam's 30-year review. Almost 40 years for Raiders. Raiders the Lost Ark and the Temple of Doom.
Raiders was good. Marion, not so much.
You didn't like Marion?
I had a beef with that when I saw she was gone in the sequel, or prequel, I guess.
Yeah.
I was happy for a few seconds. Then I got to learn the actual female character. Ooh, wow, my throat.
You're good. You're okay.
From Temple of Doom. What is her name in Temple of Doom, the character?
Oh, I can't remember.
I've forgotten as well.
Mrs. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but she,
his wife.
Not to jump around from movie to movie here, but that character was one of my least favorite movie characters of all time.
Yeah.
I think she was meant to be that way, so she was doing a good job. But my question is, what's the point of that? Marion at least was kind of, could hold her own, kind of rough and tough. But this one here, she would scream at a snake, scream at a spider, scream at a spider web. Like, she was nothing but a hindrance. The small, 9-year-old boy was much more of a help than she was.
Short Round.
Short Round's amazing. I love Short Round.
Come here hot.
I love it. Great character. I'm just confused of why they chose a prequel. I know George Lucas has ties to this, so I'm sure he had something to do with that. But I enjoyed the first one much more than the second one. much more.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom is, for a long time, was my least favorite until Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out.
Really?
And that is absolute garbage. I would say
Yeah.
don't even watch it.
Yeah.
Don't even watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Really?
You will love The Last Crusade.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it's as much fun as the first one.
Uh-huh.
Plus the addition of Sean Connery.
Right.
As
Is that his dad?
his dad.
Yeah.
And
we're back to sequel at that point, right? Is this post Raiders of the Lost Ark?
That's post Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Nazis are back.
Okay.
Anytime Indiana Jones fights Nazis, it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah, so I was reading online, that's why they chose to make that a prequel in the second one, because they didn't want to repeat the villains as Nazis again this time around.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense.
They chose some weird Indian
Asian,
cult.
Yeah.
Which was okay. I mean, there's some good stuff in Temple of Doom. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sequences in an Indiana Jones movie is in Temple of Doom, and that's that club sequence at the beginning where they have the lazy Susan and they're spinning the potion and the money and just the whole domino effect through the club. I love that sequence. Probably my favorite part of the movie.
Really?
And then once the monkey brains and the eels and
all the gross stuff. They try to do the gross outs, and
it just doesn't really work in an Indiana Jones movie.
And the actor who plays Short Round, was that movie before or after Goonies?
It was the same summer as Goonies, I think.
That's weird. And I mean, I'm sure that makes sense, but in my head, the Goonies came out and they saw how popular and funny he was, and they threw him in there just for no reason. Because really, he had no reason to be there.
Because he looks about the same age.
Yeah, really close to it.
In Goonies.
Yeah.
So it's got to be. They had to be filmed very close together.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see like the Stranger Things kids. Mm-hmm. Look at the difference in their age in just a year.
Yeah.
How they're going to look in season 2 versus the first season. So.
Yeah. But I enjoyed Raiders quite a bit. And I'm watching both of those
Do you think
movies.
It's everything that it was built up to be? It's pretty epic.
It's good. Yeah. It's good.
Pretty epic.
Yeah. I think you have to be a fan of that genre of movie, if that makes sense. Like that kind of old school.
The serialized adventure.
tomb raiding. Like, I mean, that kind of deal. And it's just never. It was good. It wasn't my favorite. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it was good. It was very well done. I was watching it and I was impressed because never again, not now and especially in the future, will we ever see a movie like this, good or bad, that uses practical effects in that way. Like every single thing now that were done in that way would be a CGI effect.
Including an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, really? That happens?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, even like the mountaintops, landscapes, and tombs, and those things I can see today would all be just rendered in a computer. And back then, they were all actual sets or actual landscapes. Mm-hmm. And I respected it much for that.
I love the sequence in the first one with him on the truck, having to crawl over the truck and then under the truck and then being dragged by the truck.
Yeah.
It's a great sequence.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes you ask the question of that character, like what makes him so special? And this is my brain, I think, in the modern world we are where superheroes happen. But what makes him him? I mean, is he extra... He is extra smart. He's a doctor. Mm-hmm. Like to be a normal guy. Maybe that's the appeal to him. He is your everyday man doing these crazy adventures, and that makes you feel like you could do it too.
And
is that what's so special?
In the third one, you get the third one opens, not to spoil a movie that came out in 1989, but the third one opens with a young Indiana Jones, played by River Phoenix, and there's a whole like opening sequence with River Phoenix as a young Indiana Jones in the Scouts, and it really goes a long way in building the background for the Indy character, in that you just see he's always had that kind of adventurous mind.
Did they ever say, or did I maybe miss, where he got the name Indiana? That is a nickname, correct? Did they say that? Did I miss it?
I'll let you watch the third one.
Oh, they say it. Okay, that's good. I just haven't seen it yet.
Dr. Henry Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't believe it's a classic line from the third one.
Really?
And I could say it, but then it'll literally ruin the movie.
Never mind then.
The end of the movie.
I'll see it soon.
Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil the final scene of The Last Crusade.
Please don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The third one goes back to like the Crusades and the Knights.
Really?
And,
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And the Nazis. Mm-hmm. There's so many classic lines from that movie that you've probably heard.
You think so?
Yeah. That you don't realize came from the movie.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just as good as Indie Cover Your Heart.
Yeah.
Torah, 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 Torah.
So what happens? Is Marion back? Does she come back?
She comes back in Crystal Skull.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they explain what she's doing in Last Crusade?
No. You never get any reference to Marion in The Last Crusade.
Weird. Huh.
But you get plenty of her backstory in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I hate that already because I do not like that character.
Oh, wait till you get Shia LaBeouf in that movie.
And that's bad?
Well, they introduced him
Who is his mother?
Marion.
Real?
So guess who his father might be?
Yeah. I assumed.
Mutt.
Yeah.
And two, in that one, man, like Indiana Jones survives a nuclear blast.
In a fridge, right?
In a fridge.
I've heard all that. And the aliens, there are aliens involved somehow?
Yeah. It's...
Do you think this is the classic theme of you're just at a different age now? I mean, we loved the hokey, cartoony wrestlers back in the 80s because we were that certain age. But now, if a Hulk Hogan character came out, we would despise him. You know we would. Like a John Cena now for kids. I'm sure when they were 25, 30 years old, they would hate John Cena, but they love him as a kid.
No, and I will use another Lucasfilm movie to prove my point that is a bad movie, and it's not just, me loving those old movies. In the latest Star Wars movie, in not The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, when you saw those old characters and they were acting like those, Han was Han, Leia was Leia. We assume Luke was Luke in the brief moment that you saw him. But seeing those old characters in this new story felt good and it felt natural. You never have that feeling with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It really does feel like Harrison Ford is just going through the motions.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not as fun. Crystal Skull's not really that fun. So
it's still pretty physical because the things he did, I'm aware he had a stunt man, but a lot of times you see Harrison Ford doing a lot of that stuff, which I'm see him in his mid-70s now, couldn't be doing that.
Or I guess they probably use the stunt man more.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are stunt. But then they try to...
I mean, there's scenes in The Force Awakens when he and Chewie are running down the hall. I'm like, ooh, that looks rough.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but at least in The Force Awakens, when he delivers dialogue, he sounds like Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like you believe he is Han Solo. And in Crystal Skull, I never believe he's Indiana Jones. Never. And then they do stupid stuff like there's a chase that's through a building. And you remember at the end of Raiders when they lock up the Ark and they're on he's in the government guys are there.
Yeah.
And he's like, where's the Ark now? It belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have top men working on it.
Yeah.
Who? Top men.
Yeah.
And then you see the Ark being sealed up in the box.
Yeah. Does that come back at all? It seems like that was a setup
in
for something
Crystal
greater.
Skull, there's a chase that goes through a big warehouse, and then a box opens up, and you see it's the warehouse containing the Ark.
Really? That's
the
payoff
and
like 30 years later?
That's the payoff. Oh,
wow. Really?
I hate that movie so
So I
much.
saw that. I'm like, that's something for later. That's we just saw Loki transform into his father kind of deal right there. That's something bigger later on.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, they went with a prequel for the second one, and then it's a totally new relic in The Last Crusade. It's what is it called?
I have no idea yet.
The cup that caught the blood of Christ.
Oh, I can't remember the name of that.
I can't remember the name of the relic.
Yeah, that's what it is, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
I started to say the Holy Grail.
It's weird. I don't know why they do the prequel thing. Once again, with my beef with prequels, every single time in Temple of Doom that Indy's in trouble, he's fine because we've seen him alive later on. Prequels kill the magic.
Well, maybe back then you forgot that a little bit.
You think so? People weren't aware of that?
I think maybe back then, with no internet reminding you this is a prequel over and over again, when you watched the movie, you got so vested in the adventure that the peril was real.
You think he'll, I think we've talked about this before, do you think Harrison Ford will perish on screen as Indiana Jones like he did Han Solo?
I just hope they don't make that movie.
It's happening right now. Aren't they filming it currently?
No, I don't think they're filming it yet.
I thought they were already.
No, they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And they've got a date announced, which is like 3 years from now. I just hope they don't make it. Let's just have those as the Indiana Jones movies.
All three of them.
I know we don't really do the news on this show like
Right.
we used to, but there are some stuff that came up this week that I want to talk about. I'll start with this really sad story that Zack Snyder has left Justice League due to the it's sad. His daughter committed suicide in March, and he and his wife both have left the production of Justice League to kind of focus on their family, which I totally commend him for. But did you know that had happened? I didn't even know that.
I think
it
was
happened.
kept secret until this past week. I think it was all secretive.
Yeah, this past week is the first I was hearing that he suffered that tremendous loss. And I know even as recently as last week, I claimed that part of the problem with the DCEU was Zack Snyder. But in no way do you want to see this happen to anyone. And this really, like when I heard this story, it just kind of hit home. These are just movies.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like my heart truly went out to him because that is just such a sad story. And you actually are the one that sent that to me.
Yeah. I mean, I saw when it popped up. I'm like, wow. Once again, I was surprised it was a secret for so long. Usually things are, as soon as they happen, they hit the news now within minutes. But it was sad to see. And then we have a replacement for him already too.
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be, as far as the movie goes, a fantastic replay. And I guess he's overseeing some of the reshoots and the actual post-production of the movie.
It's interesting. You have your J.J. Abrams that went from like two of the biggest franchises from Star Trek to Star Wars. Now you have Joss Whedon doing the Avengers with Marvel and DC's Justice League. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's happened twice in our history.
Yeah. But I was so sorry to hear that happen to Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
That's really sad. I want to play something for you. In happier news, you said you hadn't heard this.
Right.
So let me set this up a little bit.
Okay.
The composer for Spider-Man Homecoming released a clip earlier this week on YouTube, and it's them doing some of the music actually in the big, huge studio where the orchestra is, and it's actually them recording part of the score for Spider-Man Homecoming. But the clip he released was this.
That's amazing.
Is that not the coolest thing you've ever heard?
Because just like last week or 2 weeks ago, I was complaining how modern superheroes and movies don't have themes anymore.
Yeah.
And there we go. It's not new by any means, but it's definitely, for someone who wouldn't know what that is, they would think it's just a cool theme song.
And when the trombones kick in at the end?
I knew you'd be a trombone guy.
Now, we don't know if this is actually from the score or if this is just something they recorded and released on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I could see that in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe a montage of Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things.
Because it's a callback to the fans. Like, someone who has no idea anything about the history of the character would hear that and think it fits and it's cool, but the longtime fan would be excited about that.
And didn't you get a hint? And was it the first Spider-Man? Wasn't a street musician playing the Spider-Man theme?
I can't remember.
In the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie?
That makes sense.
So they've done that before, but never an orchestral version that was actually part of the film score.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So if that is what is happening here, I am all on board for that.
It took me about 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Oh.
Yeah. And then also in Spider-Man Homecoming news, we had a third trailer. Actually, 2 trailers released. Did you watch the international trailer?
I think so.
The one
I've seen so many.
The one you watched, did it open basically with him using his phone to film the events of Captain America Civil War?
No. I didn't see that one.
That's where this comes from. And to set up a little bit, because this is audio, that's what's happening. He's actually using his phone to record the airport fight from Captain America Civil War.
That's funny.
Yeah, and this is what the beginning of the trailer is like.
There's Captain America. There's Iron Man. Whoa, look at that new guy. Who's that? Underoos. That's my cue. I gotta go. I was in a fight with Captain America and I stole his shield and I threw it at him. The hell, he's big now. I gotta go. It was the amazing thing that's ever happened. So Mr. Stark was like, hey, Underoos. And I just sort of flipped in. Hey, just a second. Coming. Hey.
We have thin walls here.
So what is our next retreat?
What, next mission? We'll call you. I think with a little more mentoring, could be a real asset to the team. That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. Oh, all right, kid. Good luck out there.
When he says, the person that says we have thin walls is happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
That's
that second
funny.
part, they're back, I guess, at one of Stark's houses.
Yeah.
And he's in his phone. He's like, yeah, Dad, I stole Captain America's shield. And that's Happy, who knocks on the door and says we have thin walls.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I really believe this is going to be the biggest movie of the summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
And to go back, watch this trailer because it's great because it is like a cell phone view back behind something at the airport, and you see like Ant-Man and Captain America and Iron Man, and the new guy is Black Panther.
Oh, really?
Like he doesn't recognize Black Panther.
It's funny.
It's great.
Wow.
So, I'm really excited for that movie.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That may be the movie I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it is mine.
Though, Wonder Woman is getting nothing but positive reviews.
I know. So in my week of sickness, I listened to a lot of podcasts. I've been going through the old archives of Collection Connection.
Right.
Our sister show here. And many times in there, we talk about people giving standing ovations to Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but these are critics that panned the other DC movies that are praising Wonder Woman. Now, yeah, you're absolutely right. That means nothing when you go to see it. But it certainly gives you hope that maybe you won't be as ultimately disappointed as Wonder Woman as you were with the other DC movies.
I think DC's burned me so much they have to have an amazing movie to even make me middle of the road at this point. It's sad to say it, but I'm so far against them. It has to be fantastic for me to be okay. Maybe next time. I hate to be that way, but that's what they've done to me.
Well, let me throw this news at you.
Turned me into this machine.
You did this, DC. You're to blame. Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man movie, has been cast as a young Nathan Drake in a forthcoming Uncharted movie.
Very nice.
Based on the video game franchise. Now, if you go to see an Uncharted movie, would you not want to see, like we were talking about the Indiana Jones movies, but basically Uncharted, if done correctly, could be an Indiana Jones type movie.
Yeah.
But do you really want to start with Tom Holland as a young Nathan Drake?
I don't think so.
Or do you think that's smart to let him age up? And so now you could do 6-7 movies as he gets older.
Especially as big as a character as Spider-Man is, and I don't see him stopping that anytime soon. Well, I mean, who knows? We have a new Spider-Man every 5 years, it seems. But it seems like he's in for the long haul, and he's a good actor for the role. I feel like that's kind of a bad idea to have that too. I've even thought that having Star-Lord in Jurassic World was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I can't disconnect those two characters.
Did you?
One has scruff, one has sideburns. It's the only difference.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Did you watch Parks and Rec at all?
Yeah.
My wife and I have been going back and watching a lot of the
Great show.
because I didn't watch it when it was on. He is fantastic in that show.
Yeah.
And a totally different character.
Yeah, just a fat slob pretty much.
Than Star-Lord.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to the season now where he is clearly getting ready to be Star-Lord.
Oh, yeah, you see a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the season ends, and then when he shows up for, like, season 6, I guess, he's basically buff. He's in Star-Lord shape.
Yeah.
And he's like, I lost 50 pounds, but I stopped drinking beer. So that was pretty funny. Tom Hardy is Venom.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. Once again, a fantastic actor, and he's one of those guys that can totally transform himself. I mean, he's one of those actors. Every single time you see him, he's a different person. I'm down for him.
Do you think it's smart to do a Venom movie that doesn't include Spider-Man on some level?
Maybe. I think if any, there may be about 5 villains in the Marvel Universe who could have their own standalone movie, and he's one of them.
Right.
Yeah. If you had to have 5 villains that had a standalone movie in the Marvel Universe, who'd you pick?
Kingpin.
Okay.
I would go with Venom. Maybe even Carnage.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I think Carnage would be a good horror movie.
They've got to have a teaser in there for not to have his own movie, but just have him in there.
From Marvel, Marvel villains that have their own standalone movie. That's 3.
That's 3.
Who would you go? Well, I'm thinking my 4th and 5th.
I'll go Venom for sure. That's tough. I mean, so many good Spider-Man stuff. I would like.
Yeah, it's almost Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
Yeah. I would like some Doc Ock. I'd like to see that. Some Venom. Maybe a. Don't judge me, but if he counts, I like Galactus.
Yeah, if done well.
Yeah, if done well. Starting his origins with Galan. I think maybe, that's 3 I have for me as well. I think a proper Magneto would be.
Oh yeah, I was about to say a Magneto movie would be good,
and not like that Fassbender stuff we have going now, but like a proper.
Dr. Doom would be a good one.
Doom would be awesome, yeah.
A Dr. Doom standalone movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, but the problem with a villain-centric movie is you have to have someone to root for.
Right.
And if they're strictly the villain, then it's hard to get vested in that.
Yeah. Well, think like an origin movie. I mean, that's a terrible explanation for it, but imagine like the Star Wars prequels. For 3 of those movies, well, 2 3/4, Anakin is our protagonist.
That's true.
And then,
but he was a good guy.
Yeah, but we knew full and well what was going to happen in the future. We still rooted for him.
But by the third one, you're rooting for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like the last
Even though
quarter of it.
ultimately you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, in the first 3/4, he's still a good guy until his wife turns sick. That makes him go.
Did you know that the original draft of that film, The Revenge of the Sith, Padme would try to kill Anakin?
Really?
Yeah, in the original draft, there was going to be a scene where she tried to kill Anakin.
After he turned evil?
Yeah, well, I guess as she saw him turning, she was going to try to take him out.
But he turned bad for her own good.
Yeah.
He tried to keep her alive and bring her back from death.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
Yeah.
It's your fault, Padme.
It's all your fault.
It is.
The Dark Universe over at Universal, the Universal Monsters. They did a big group photo of
Is that what's called the Dark Universe?
It's going to be called the Dark Universe.
Oh, wow.
And I guess Bride of Frankenstein is going to be next after The Mummy this summer. Then we're going to get a Frankenstein movie, Invisible Man, Swamp Thing.
We'll see about this. Once
Dracula.
Once the Mummy doesn't make half of its budget back, we'll see how this works out.
Yeah,
We're going to see.
That is probably the biggest gamble this summer. Is Tom Cruise in a Mummy movie? If anyone cares,
I think if they're starting the whole Dark Universe with this, it's a bad kickoff. If you ask me, I think a Wolfman or a Frankenstein or a Dracula would be a much better and I think a much safer bet than the Mummy. Especially I don't like the reimagining of a female. I don't know.
Yeah,
not my style.
And then they did this whole group photo. Johnny Depp was in it.
What is he going to do?
Who is he? I forget who he is. Maybe he's. No, he's not. Maybe he's the Invisible Man. I can't remember. Russell Crowe's in it.
Yeah,
because he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Who's the bad guy in the new Pirates movie?
What is his name?
From No Country for Old Men and
No, his name was Anton in No Country for Old Men. What's the actor's name? I can't remember. Javier Bardem.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in it. So, I don't know.
Interesting. I wonder if they'll do the whole... Because I enjoyed Benicio del Toro's Wolfman. It was a critical and successful flop, or financial flop, but I enjoyed it.
Maybe that's who Johnny Depp's going to be.
Think so?
Maybe the Wolfman.
I can see that more.
He'd be a good... I think if he was Dracula, that would probably be the best casting.
You think so?
Yeah, because then he can just do his usual shit.
Did you see Dark Shadows?
Oh, that was... Yeah, you're right. He's already... And it was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Just more pale.
That was so bad. Once again, like a parody of a classic show. I'm not a huge fan of the show, but if I were, I'd be pissed.
Before because what we're going to do is we're going to review the Rockstar Games. We got that coming up.
Yeah.
But one more video game thing. They have announced they're going to completely reboot the Resident Evil movie franchise, and James Wan is going to direct the first one and I guess produce any sequels. So are you excited to see a new Resident Evil universe?
I've never, no. Maybe they're a little more zombie-ish. Maybe now, because they see now like the whole zombie thing is in.
Yeah.
I think we're on the last few kicks of the big zombie thing, but it's still in. And I think maybe they'll make it more zombie-ish.
Maybe.
I'll admit I've never seen the Resident Evil movies because they don't seem zombie-ish enough to me.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
seem
they're
like
not.
they seem sci-fi chemical weapon. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. So maybe if they have more of like an actual, especially with the huge popularity of Resident Evil 7, what's kind of happening with that right now, I think it's time for give me an actual horror movie.
Yeah.
Weird concept. A horror movie based on a horror game? Weird.
Silent Hill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Well, we love Rockstar video games.
Oh, yeah.
Rockstar Games.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably my favorite production company for video games.
Yeah.
It seems like every one of their games is an instant classic.
Keep in mind you said that.
Okay. How about currently?
There we go. Yeah.
How about mid-2004?
Yeah. That works.
I know they've had a couple of misses.
Because it's fun to go through the history of Rockstar
Yeah.
and talk about their complete works.
So what are we calling this? The complete works?
I think the complete works. It's a good idea we had. I mean, we do a lot of stuff on the show here, but why not break down either different musical artists or video game companies or actors or anyone and just go through their complete works, just a brief history of that particular artist or company.
The complete works of Rockstar Games.
Next.
Okay, auditions for the new Earth Station Who co-host. Take one. Go ahead.
Hello, Stonehenge. Who takes the Pandora Cup, takes the universe. But, bad news everyone, cause guess who? Ha. Listen, you lot you're all whizzing about. It's really very distracting. Could you all just stay still a minute because I am talking?
Not too shabby. Can you close this up?
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating over 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. You never know where the TARDIS is going to go next. Earth Station Who podcast. can be found at www.earthstationwho.com. Earth Station Who is a proud member of the ESO network. We are up on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or wherever fine podcasts are found. Peace, and we are done. Did I pass the audition?
We'll get back to you. Next.
I ever tell you about Trevor?
Major drug dealer.
Real hillbilly type shit.
Back in town, baby! Yeah!
Please, just go and ruin somebody else's home furnishing.
New in town, I'm making friends, all right? A lot of friends. I mean, things could get really messy.
That is one of my favorite video game characters of all time.
As it should be.
Maybe my favorite video game character of all time.
Just hearing that little clip, I couldn't help but smile the whole time.
Yeah. Trevor
that takes me
from
back.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Probably the most, how do you describe him?
A psychopath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the big picture of the world, a terrible, terrible person, but you love him so much.
Yeah. You'd love to play his story.
Yeah.
And then there's so many good things about that character in GTA 5.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Rockstar games.
Yeah. We'll talk about that soon. But quickly, we're going to talk about, in general, the whole complete works, like we said, of Rockstar Games and Rockstar Studios. A video game publisher founded in 1998. You aware of that? The late 90s?
Yes, I actually did know that.
So we'll go there quickly. The current subsidiaries. So Rockstar Games is mostly a publisher, but they have many development teams underneath them, such as Rockstar India, Rockstar International, Rockstar Leeds, Rockstar Lincoln, Rockstar London, Rockstar New England, Rockstar North, Rockstar San Diego, and Rockstar Toronto, all development companies underneath the Rockstar name. And let's go through just a quick, brief history of the complete works of Rockstar Games, shall we?
Going all the way back to the late 90s.
Yeah. So
20 years ago.
I'm going to go kind of in the timeline, but I will save the ultimate best for last.
Okay.
So hang with me. First up, we have Monster Truck Madness 64, a Nintendo 64 game released in 1999. And this game featured trucks styled after WCW wrestlers. Do you remember back whenever Bigfoot game, or like the Bigfoot and Monster Truck games were a huge deal?
And
I used to love playing them.
In real life, they combined this with professional wrestling.
Right, yeah. That was a real thing. Didn't they have some rooftop challenges?
They even worked the Hulk Hogan giant truck into a pay-per-view.
Wasn't that like on a rooftop of some big tower and they went off the edge? And
yeah. I remember the NWO monster truck was a
Yeah.
thing, but you're right. Yeah, the truck did go off the edge of like a tower. And I don't know.
So in the late 90s, the Monster Truck pop culture tie-in was a huge
So
thing.
Rockstar cashed in on this by developing this
They
game for the
developed
Nintendo 64.
Monster Truck Madness 64. It's pretty awesome. There's a game called Thrasher Presents Skate and Destroy that Rockstar worked on in 1999 as well. Now, critics call this technically superior to Tony Hawk. The only reason it wasn't it sold as many copies because A, the name wasn't tied to it like a professional, and B, the graphics weren't up to par, but they called it more of a simulation, like an actual realistic skateboarding game, and a fantastic engine to it compared to Tony Hawk's arcade feel. Now, were you ever like an arcade, like a Tony Hawk? Everyone loved Tony Hawk's Pro Skater back then, right?
I was a Skater Die guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good.
No.
Skater Die was good.
No. TNC Surf Design.
Oh, yeah. That's good, too.
That was my skating game. TNC Surf Design.
Those are all good. The next one they did, I had no idea existed, and we've talked about this character quite a few times before, but Earthworm Jim 3D on the Nintendo 64. Basically, Earthworm Jim 3 on the 64. I had no idea. It sold very few copies, and people hated it, but in 1999, Rockstar did publish and I think worked on development of that game as well. Weird one I've never heard of before called Wild Metal Country on the N64 in the year 2000. It's funny that Nintendo at this time was the main provider of Rockstar Games.
They were a huge platform then.
Yeah, but how that would change
a huge
drastically.
console.
Can you imagine any Nintendo console now having any Rockstar game whatsoever?
Do they not put the Rockstar games out on Nintendo?
No, they haven't in, I guess, at least over a decade now.
So they've just been Xbox and Sony exclusives.
Yeah.
Not exclusives, but only
PC,
available.
yeah, those three.
And PC,
But Nintendo, no, they wouldn't dare touch a Rockstar game at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're missing out on money.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest ever. Also, the game called Smuggler's Run. Do you remember this game?
I remember Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, they had this series from 2000, 2002, I believe 2 installments, Smuggler's Run 1 and Smuggler's Run 2. It was fun. It was like a buggy off-road kind of racing game. It was kind of cool, but they worked on that. One of my personal favorites that has gone away, and I miss it dearly, is the Midnight Club series. From
the race game.
Yeah, it was great. Like a street racing, kind of urban from 2000 until 2008. That game was fantastic. They had Midnight Club 1, 2, and 3, and I believe Los Angeles was number 4. This game stands out to me because in the late years whenever Blockbuster was finally going out of business. What was the last, around this area, when did they go out? This game came out in 2008, so I want to say 2008, 2009-ish, right?
Well, I think the last time I went to a Blockbuster video was probably 2009 or 2010.
Yeah, so this is a little warning tale for you, and anyone who has any idea how this works. It was news to me, but in the year 2008, 2009-ish maybe, I rented the last game in the Midnight Club series called Midnight Club Los Angeles, kept it for about 6 or 7 days over the rental time, so I had a late fee on it. I think I've told the story before, right?
I think you and I have similar stories.
And so
mine was the Saw films.
Really?
Like 2 Saw movies, yeah.
So I don't remember the actual price, but I had a late fee of $12, $13, $14. No, it's probably more than that. Probably closer to $25, $30. But I kept it there because I was, if I ever did go back to rent it, that's when you pay it. You don't pay it right when you return it.
Right.
Who does that?
Right.
That's crazy talk. You pay it when you come back for your next rental. Therefore, you know in your head, I want to see Freddy Got Fingered, but it'll cost $35.
Right.
So I plan to take it back and do that and pay that when I got my next rental. But Blockbuster, everyone in this area closed around. The place went out of business. So what Blockbuster did at that time, anybody who had existing late fees, they took your card on file and automatically withdrew that money from your bank account.
Oh, wow.
Now, back at this time of my life, I wasn't so financially sound, not that I am now, but even more so back then, so that overdrew my bank account. I got no notification until it came in the snail mail days later, in 2008, 2009. So this rental of Midnight Club Los Angeles cost me over $100.
So you didn't do a very good job of keeping a tally of your bank account.
No.
Yeah, bank records. And,
no. Well, even if I did, I would have thought,
Yeah, that's true.
I would have expected the $35.
That's true. You wouldn't have posted it.
Yeah, but in that time, for this particular store at least, whenever Blockbuster went out of business, all existing late fees they drew from those accounts. So imagine that money they got, because people had those dormant late fees just hanging out there. They got...
That was the last cash grab.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
And it wasn't enough to maintain the company.
And I guess it's totally legal, because when you sign up in the thing, I guess that's probably in the fine print I didn't read.
Yeah.
So that's the Midnight Club
Thanks,
series.
Midnight Club.
Yeah, exactly. Some games in the year 2000 came out based on the Austin...
year 2000.
Zero. Some Austin Powers games came out by Rockstar Games. Did you know these existed? I had no idea.
I have never played these games, but I saw that in looking this up that Rockstar actually did Austin Power Game Boy games.
Game Boy Color
Game
games.
Boy Advance.
The first one is Austin Powers Oh Behave, a collection of mini games based on the Austin Powers franchise. And then shortly, a few months after that, Austin Powers Welcome to My Underground Lair. It was kind of a Dr. Evil version of that. It had a kind of simulated version of the internet on there. You'd have screens where you'd look up facts about the characters in the movies and stuff. Weird games that weren't good. But this is before, right after the first Grand Theft Autos came out and before Rockstar's kind of finding their footing. The early days of the company for sure. A game called The Italian Job came out in 2001.
Based off the film.
I think, don't quote me here, but I think the film is based off of that.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I think the film was like 02, 03-ish.
Yeah.
And the terrible game is 2001. Isn't that weird?
Oh, okay.
I think many times I see a list of worst movies based on games. I think The Italian Job is always on there.
Wow.
It's a movie based on a game.
I didn't know that. I thought it was based off the movie.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. A game called Oni, 2001. It was released as well. I've always seen that. It has like a cool holographic cover. I've never played Oni, O-N-I, but Rockstar Games did help publish that. A game that I remember got hyped up big time, but didn't live up to the hype in the year of 2002 was called State of Emergency. Did you remember this game when it came out? They teased it because we saw the Rockstar logo. So around 2002, we find in the timeline of Grand Theft Auto, we'll talk about in a bit, in the year 2002 was when they kind of realized their logo meant something. Rockstar with that R in the star.
After the GTA games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that. After GTA 3 came out in 2001.
Yeah.
That was, with Rockstar on there, they kind of got the M. Night Shyamalan hit. Like you put that name on the cover of the game, it's going to make some sales to it. So State of Emergency came out, kind of an open world brawler, but didn't really live up to the hype so much. In 2001 and then 2012, we have the Max Payne series, kind of the timeline of those. Did you play the Max Payne games at all whatsoever?
I played the third one. I played a little bit of Max Payne 3, which we actually have a clip from.
Yeah. I'd arrived in Sao Paulo a few weeks before.
I can get you work, Max. Work that only a guy like you can do.
I ain't a cop no more. I was working a protection detail for the kind of people who need protection in a town like this. It wasn't pretty, but I guess none of what was about to happen was gonna be. Here I was again, with all hell breaking loose around another girl I had been trying to protect.
I think the Max Payne, that trailer for Max Payne 3 is a good example of what Rockstar was able to do, and that was add that cinematic quality to their games. They do it better than any company out there.
Without a doubt.
As good or better than any other company out there. And I've actually seen you cosplay as a Max Payne 3, as Max from Max Payne 3.
Exactly. I'm a Max Payne.
He shaves his head.
Yeah, and the beard and the shaved head and the tank top and the guns. Yeah, I even bought the official Max Payne 3 Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yep.
I love the Max Payne series. Like I said, the first one comes out in 2001. It's almost overdone. I think it's seen its time now. But the very first time we saw this in video games with the use of bullet time, kind of made popular in the Matrix movies, was in Max Payne 1. And Max Payne 2 was awesome. Max Payne 3 had a long delay, but came out in May of 2012. It was a good game, for sure. I don't think it sold as much as they wanted to, especially after 4 or 5 years in development, but a great game nonetheless. In the year 2003, we have the first installment of a game called Manhunt that comes out, and that franchise goes on until 2007. We have the next sequel to that. And the Manhunt series is probably their most controversial series. I'd say neck and neck with Grand Theft Auto, but for a different reason.
It's a little more gory.
Ultimate violence. Grand Theft Auto has the sex and the cursing thrown in there, but Manhunt is strictly hardcore violence.
Yeah, it's and you kind of get that sense from the trailer for Manhunter 2.
My name is Daniel Lamb, and I live in hell.
What seest thou, Earth's dark, backward, and abysmal time?
They made you sick. Remember, Danny?
Jesus, Daddy, you're scaring me! Danny!
Tonight, we're all getting out.
This product is not yet rated.
And it was rated M for mature.
Yeah, very hard M. This story and this kind of plot trope has been used many times, not only in video games, but in movies and books as well. In both installments, you are a criminal in jail for murder of multiple people, and they want to do like a reality show. So they set up cameras everywhere and have the criminals kind of go off in a death match, and the last person to survive gets to be freed to the world. So Manhunt is that you as an actual contestant in this weird, twisted reality show.
And the Manhunt series has some of the queasiest sounding sound effects I've ever heard in a video game.
Without a doubt.
Squishy.
So gooey.
It should be called Squishy. Squishy 2.
I mean, for years we've had violence in video games. Even Duck Hunt, you shot things with an actual fake gun. But this one felt more visceral and felt real. I mean, you had to slowly sneak up behind someone, and you got to adjust the tension of the plastic bag over their head as you felt them suffocate in your grasp. It was intense.
It's really hardcore.
It really is.
It really is rated M
and
for
oddly,
mature.
And oddly enough, so Manhunt 1 comes on across, I believe, the PS2 and the Xbox. And I think, I could be wrong here, but I only saw Manhunt 2 only on the Wii. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but they won't do a GTA game.
No, I think I believe that is the last Rockstar game on Nintendo. I believe so. But Manhunt 2 only, I believe, I could be wrong, but I only saw it ever on the Wii itself. And they tried to, utilize the motion controls and your little your Wiimote to actually kill people.
I'm going to use my Wiimote to kill this guy.
In 2004, we have the first installment of one of your favorite franchises, and this is when the Red Dead series comes out in 2004 with Red Dead Revolver. Are you a fan of this franchise at all?
A little bit. Red Dead Revolver is a solid game.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what they were able to do with the Red Dead games later with the Rage engine, which is the Rockstar developed game engine.
Yeah, which many games use it, yeah.
Yeah. But when Rockstar uses their own engine to create these fantastic games, it's a brilliant experience. You didn't have that in the original Red Dead Revolver, but it was a solid, fun game. But, buddy, when Red Dead Redemption came out, that game is amazing.
I rode in a gang. They left me to die after I'd been shot. You can't change, John.
This is America, where a lying, cheating degenerate can prosper.
It's you or me. The way I see it, might as well be you.
Red Dead Redemption, coming May 18th. Rated M for mature.
Wow. It takes me back.
It's my favorite Western of the last 20 years.
Oh, man. It's a fantastic story, right?
Yeah, it really is my favorite Western.
And like you said, it's so cinematic. Rockstar does that perfectly, the cinematic feel to it.
And when they decided to start doing DLC for Red Dead Redemption, they actually put out, you could download it or you could buy the disc, and it was Red Dead Redemption Undead. Was it Undead Nightmare?
Yeah, Undead Nightmare.
So it's zombies in the Red Dead Redemption game, and it's fantastic.
We spent many nights late night playing Liar's Dice, or poker. Or, Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, just me and you.
And that's just like mini games inside the game.
Yeah,
the game
we're just
itself.
playing mini games. We did the same thing for the GTA games.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
I can't wait for Red Dead 3.
Oh, man.
Which we found out this week.
Yeah.
Is delayed till
Q2 2018, I believe. I know, one more year. Yeah. But
we knew it was going to happen.
I know Rockstar.
You called it.
Yeah.
When they put the teaser out last year, just the new banner on their Facebook page that was just, the Red Dead background.
They were like, you think Christmas this year?
Yeah.
Christmas of 2016?
Nope. But with Rockstar, it's always worth the wait.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't think of a gaming flop they've had in the past 15 years. I can't think of one.
GTA 5 was delayed 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, many times.
And it was totally worth the wait.
Right, yeah, for sure. I mean, the Rockstar, this is the way they make games. Like you said, the cinematic feel really comes out and shines in the Red Dead series, and I'm excited about what 28 holds for us. The next game they have in the timeline here is sadly based on a movie that I've sadly never seen. It's called The Warriors. Have you seen The Warriors?
Can the Warriors come out and play?
Here they can. I've always wanted to see this. It looks awesome. The design, the look, the feel. But I've A, never played this game, and B, never seen the movie. I feel like I'm doing that an injustice. But 2005 was a year for the Warriors. In 2006, a game I believe should have been the start of a franchise and had many sequels after it, but there wasn't, was a game they had called Bully. Basically Grand Theft Auto for your grade school and your private school kids.
This game is hilarious.
Oh, man,
Here we are, boy. Bullworth Academy. Have fun, Jimmy.
Hopkins, you're quite the nastiest little boy I have ever encountered.
Okay, I'm frightened. And I've got a weak bladder. Hey, Aggie.
You can clean my shoes.
This school is filled with wild...
You're a degenerate! To think I trusted you!
You're a pig. You've ruined my life. Bullworth is a microcosm for the whole world.
Welcome to Bullworth.
You're right. It's GTA in a private boarding school.
I just wonder why this didn't take off as much as it should have. I feel like that has charm to it that we don't see in games these days mostly.
Maybe
you don't think so?
They were centered around kids.
Yeah, you think that's, and they're like kind of kissing and touching and violence and
it's a little uncomfortable.
Just don't think of it like that. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, okay. Because it's not a college.
No,
these are like high school age
they're
kids.
Like 13, 14, maybe 15 tops.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not driving yet. I know that.
I think it's probably when you get down and you actually look at what this game's about.
I don't like to think about that.
It could be the most uncomfortable game Rockstar's ever made.
You think it's what it is, really? You think they did that? And then, because it's so well done, sold tons of copies. They have, PS3 and Xbox 360 versions that are special editions. I believe the PS4 and Xbox One has a new high-def version as well. So it's still making copies, but as far as sequels, they have no word of it whatsoever.
It's one of those Rockstar games that definitely has a following.
Yeah.
Years later, there is a whole segment of society that just loves the bully game.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, after 2006 happens, you see, I'm going to say a decline in their development, but they clearly had bigger fish to fry in.
Yeah.
So first off, in 2006, they had a game that I owned strictly because of the name on it. And the official title was Rockstar Games Presents Table Tennis. 2006 on the Xbox 360.
Let's do a simpler game, guys.
Yeah, that was great. I'm like, what is going on? I expected, naked women and violence, but it was just ping pong. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like nothing, it was not any coating of sugar whatsoever. Just table tennis. But once again, they're still in kind of a cocoon phase here.
But I think they wanted to get a game out because they're working on a fantastic game at this time, too.
Right. And I think we're going to talk about all those in a bit. But in 2009, a game called Beat-A-Rater comes out.
Oh, with Timberland?
Yeah.
Timberland's in the building. Pick up 1, 2, 3. Pick up 1, 2, 3. Beat-A-Rater, Beat-A-Rater. Well, Beat-A-Rater, anyone can make professional sounding music. Change styles. Record and play back your song. Using ready-made loops played. Counted by me, counted by you. You got it? Check it out. Welcome. Yeah.
This was their entry into the music games.
Yeah.
That was becoming popular at the time.
I love Beat-A-Rater. I won't lie. It was only on the...
I've never played it.
It was only on the PSP, the PlayStation Portable. And I believe iOS, the Apple had a version of it, but It was good. I'm a Timberland fan. I'm a music game fan. I'm a Rockstar fan. It's a win-win.
They'll be happy to know that Timberland appears on Brad Paisley's new album.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
Man, there you
go. So 2 years later, in 2011, a fantastic, fantastic game that does not get enough credit that it deserves, called L.A. Noire, comes out. Still to this day, some of the best graphics and technology I've seen in a game ever.
Did Rockstar develop this game?
They didn't. They published it, but Team Bondi developed it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but they had their name tied to it for publishing.
Yeah, that game, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about games that should have sequels,
Yeah.
that definitely deserves a sequel because that game was ahead of its time.
Really, I think people look back 10 years from now like, wow, that was on the Xbox 360? That was on a PS3? I think they'll be blown away by that when you see comparatively the graphics of that day. And it was a great setting. I mean, the 40s and L.A. and that whole detective and homicide and kind of, just that Hollywood feel to it. It was really cool. But that is the final official Rockstar series we'll talk about until the very final one. The big one, the big daddy of them all.
Take us back to the very first one of these,
Yeah,
which
for
was
sure.
nothing what this
For sure.
series would become.
Yeah, so in 1997, like I said, we're going back in the timeline here for the Grand Theft Auto series, and Grand Theft Auto 1 comes out in the year 1997. What can we say about that? So did you play the original Grand Theft Auto, the top-down?
Yes.
Who would have known that game... I mean, it was fun. I remember all my friends at school were talking about it, talking about the cheat codes and how violent and extreme it was. But looking back, they're pretty much dots.
Yeah.
You are a car being driven by a dot with smaller dots for arms, and dots coming out as gunshots and bullets.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's pixel-rific.
Almost like a Micro Machines feel to it. And so Grand Theft Auto 1 comes out.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Micro
It's like
Machines,
a violent Micro Machines.
Before we go deeper into the Grand Theft Auto series, which I think we could have and probably have had a whole show on that before, this series, as of right now, has sold over 250 million copies of all time. That's the fifth biggest selling franchise of all time, only behind the Mario franchise and the Tetris franchise, the actual Super Mario franchise, and Pokemon. So all those are pretty much safe bet, mobile, child games, but as far as like adult-friendly games, Grand Theft Auto is by far at the top there.
Yeah.
To give you an example of that, how big of a deal that is, they sold 250 million copies. The Madden franchise, you know how big Madden is, comes out every year, and it's been out since 1988, has only sold 100 million copies combined.
Wow.
So the GTA series has sold over 2.5 times that, and they've been out for a decade longer compared to the Madden franchise. That's crazy. That's nuts, right? That shows the quality and the money Rockstar has in their pockets right now.
Well, the last 3 games have been huge. Actually, the last 4 games in the GTA series have been huge
deservedly
games.
so, for sure. So like you said, 1997, we have Grand Theft Auto, just at the time, Grand Theft Auto. We call it 1 now, but it was GTA. And then shortly after that, you have Grand Theft Auto London, 1969, still keeping with that whole top-down perspective, but oddly enough, set in London, 1969, a weird thing.
Yeah.
And the follow-up to that is Grand Theft Auto, an even stranger idea, London, 1961. They're sticking with London, but doing a prequel 8 years prior in 1961. It made no sense.
And these are just car games.
Yeah.
These are straight up just
actual
car
Grand
games.
Theft Auto. Like the focus is, like, you want to stay in the car. I would say 95%, maybe 100% of the missions are car-based.
Yeah.
The map is...
simple.
1/650th of what one sector is now.
And
in
they're
Grand
just
Theft Auto.
mazes.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just
Very
mazes.
perpendicular, left, right, up, down. So after that, you have Grand Theft Auto 2. Once again, the last one sticking with this top-down game. A few more features, a little bit better graphics, but I don't know what made them in the year 2001 change it up so much and go to Grand Theft Auto 3's playstyle. We know now it was a fantastic idea, but what do you think made them go that route? I mean, it's such a drastic change from that Micro Machines top-down look to that behind-the-player third-person view with actual voice acting.
I think it was someone within Rockstar, I don't know who, saying, look, we have this franchise. It's kind of fading out. We need something drastically different within this franchise to rejuvenate it and get people interested in it. And you got Grand Theft Auto 3, which was very controversial. It was the beginning of the controversy for the GTA games.
Right. And this game, do you remember when this came out? Like the appeal to it and the hype it had? It was crazy. I mean, I wonder if, and I haven't seen the actual month, but I know it comes out in 2001. I think it was before 9/11.
Yeah.
I wonder if this came out after 9/11, if it would even happen, honestly.
Probably not.
You don't think so?
Probably not.
I need to look at the actual date. I'd see the year 2001, but I'm almost sure it came out before that. And
Because
I really wonder.
Our culture became very sensitive to things for a year, 2, 3, maybe even 5 years afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't think this game would have been.
Do you think
released.
that could have not in a twisted way, but a very positive way. It could have been some kind of weird therapy and help people cope with what was going on by playing a game like this and seeing, you know what I'm trying to say? Do you think that helped
Maybe
in a way?
for some.
Yeah.
I know for most, like the therapy was finding more innocent things to get involved with.
Right,
like,
yeah. But I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3 was huge. Like the sales it made alone, something was happening there.
I know that the month following 9/11, especially the first few weeks following 9/11, the interest in classic, simple TV shows drastically, like the need for that drastically increased. Like the viewership for Andy Griffith reached all-time levels.
Really?
Following 9/11.
Odd.
Because as a culture, we just kind of craved something that was, had a normalcy to it and was, nice and easy and simple. But maybe for some, something like Grand Theft Auto 3 was therapeutic.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Shortly after the release of that, right on its heels, we have Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Probably one of my favorite GTA games ever.
And my intro to the GTA games. That was probably like hardcore playing, like playing the game all the way through.
Yeah.
Vice City was my first GTA game to go all the way through.
Fantastic. For the first time, our main character has an actual voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Who was that? What's the guy's name? Operation Dumbo Drop. Help me out here.
Oh, he's in Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah. Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. He's currently on Shades of Blue on NBC.
Yeah, J-Lo, right?
Yeah, so Ray Liotta is in GTA Vice City, which with the name Vice City, you instantly know this is in the 80s.
Right.
And then it follows every action-adventure plot of the 1980s film or TV at some point, from Miami Vice to the early in the 80s with Scarface.
Yep.
Basically, the end of this game is Scarface.
Oh, yeah. You have chainsaws, white suits, cocaine mountains, everything. The whole deal.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack.
The soundtrack of Vice City this is the first GTA game where the soundtrack is so important.
Yeah. For a good probably 10 years of my life, I listened to new wave strictly because of this game, really.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18, 19 when this game came out, and it introduced me to the music like this that was out either right when or before I was born. So it had a kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it.
Right.
Music and songs I never heard before because I wasn't born yet. It introduced that to me and made me love them.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out afterwards. And honestly, I haven't played this one all the way through. I don't know why. I think at the time I was an Xbox guy, and for about a year or two it was a PS2 exclusive.
Right.
I think that hurt me in the long run. For what I've seen and played, it looks pretty awesome.
Biggest map
to
this point
in
a Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
And the biggest story in a Grand Theft Auto
kind of
game.
had the 90s hip-hop rap vibe to it.
Right.
Pretty awesome.
And that seemed like they were like, okay, we did the 80s, now let's do the 90s.
Right, yeah. Soon after that, we have Grand Theft Auto Advance on the Game Boy Advance. Never played this, never saw it. I'm curious. I would like to see some gameplay footage on YouTube, though.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Shortly after that, we have some little standalones called Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, and then Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, kind of some standalone side missions and side quests based on those respective populations there. In 2008, though, we have a heavy hitter.
It all begins again
with Grand Theft Auto 4.
You're looking for some people.
We're all looking for that special someone. I need to know what happened. Give me that.
Don't do anything stupid, cousin.
We have to find him.
Fine, you got it. You want my word? You got my word.
Hey, Nico.
Hey. I mean, who'd have thought this would be so huge? I had no idea.
Nico's one of my favorite characters from video games, too.
It was a 7-year gap from 2001 to 2008 between Grand Theft Auto 3 and 4, the official numbered entries. What made you think? I was thinking about this in this research. Vice City was a fantastic game. San Andreas was awesome. 3 or 4 other games mixed in there. But not until Grand Theft Auto 4 did they choose to have that fourth numbered installment. What made them... You think that was the next step up, the next level, pretty much?
Yes, because they were able to take full advantage of online playing with GTA 4. Cops and Crooks, the death matches, where the multiplayer online stuff became just as important as the actual game and story itself.
Right.
And this was one of the first games that I played a lot online against
so
in death matches.
So good,
like
right?
Yeah.
So good.
It was great.
I mean, some people
It
complained.
was good.
Yeah.
Not like what you would get with the next game.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people complained on this one here of the realistic driving stuff because before this, I mean, A lot of the Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City and San Andreas, the cars felt kind of arcadey, and you could, run up against things and your car's fine. But in Grand Theft Auto 4, the realism kind of came into play. Different cars felt different. Different acceleration. The damage was there. Smoke, then black smoke, then fire. These are progressions as a Grand Theft Auto player, means get the hell out of the car.
And the gore was the most that it's ever been in a GTA game, just because of where they were with the technology.
Yeah, but I can't speak enough of Grand Theft Auto 4, one of the best ever.
It is one of the best ever.
Grand Theft Auto: The Lost and Damned came out after that, a DLC or standalone game. I got this. It was pretty fun. It was like a motorcycle gang kind of feel to it. Johnny Klebitz, I believe the character's name was. A fun little thing there. Grand Theft Auto: Chinatown Wars came out on the handheld and the portables after that. And then the Ballad of Gay Tony, the final DLC and standalone for Grand Theft Auto 4 comes out. And then in 2013, the granddaddy of them all, I would say one of the best games ever made to this day.
It's definitely my top 5.
Grand Theft Auto.
Probably top 3. Maybe top 2.
Woo! Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out with 3 different playable characters, all fantastic.
We met Trevor earlier at the beginning of this, and here's one of the players, or one of the characters, I guess the main character probably.
Yeah, it kind of starts and it revolves around him. Yeah,
is Michael.
What do you want, Michael?
I don't know. I want to be a good dad, love my family, live the dream.
Why do I have to hold your hand through this whole midlife crisis bullshit? Come here!
Don't kill him! But at the same time, I really want the other stuff too.
So yeah, it's like an old school, like a 90s gangster going through a midlife crisis.
He has the wife and kids now, has to take care of them.
Yeah.
But still has that, his past beckons.
Yeah. And the fun thing, and this doesn't spoil anything, the fun thing about GTA 5, or one of the fun things, is if you look at Vice City and say that it was heavily influenced by Scarface near the end, Vice City is definitely influenced by Heat. The Michael Mann movie Heat, because especially that last mission where you team up with Trevor and you have several missions where it's the 3 of you, Trevor, Michael, and Franklin, and but that last Uber mission with the 3 of those is very Heat like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the backstory of these characters starts to develop. I mean, this is probably one of the best games I've played where you have like really thoughtful, well-drawn characters where you get their backstory and you care about these characters in this video game, even though they're all bad guys, especially the 3 of them, Trevor being the worst of the 3 because he's just a homicidal maniac. But you actually, and that's the thing about the GTA games too, like the character that you play is gray. I mean, they're all bad guys. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, but
you choose how bad they are. I mean, they won't go to certain levels within the story. Now, when you're in free roam playing as them, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But in GTA 5, we're taking control of already predetermined terrible characters.
Yes.
Except for Franklin. Franklin's kind of
a good guy.
He's up and coming.
Yeah.
And he's doing it because he has to survive for the most part.
Right.
But there are parts where you're taking control of Trevor, and he's trying to stomp a severed foot down a toilet.
Yeah, that's true. And the Trevor torture scene.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah, some controversy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's one scene where Trevor and you as the player have to do... You have to torture one of the other characters.
Yeah.
But you have the opportunity to skip it, right?
I think they added that later on. I believe so.
The first time I played it,
but why
I
would
don't think you could. Well, yeah, because you don't feel good afterwards.
Yeah, not at all.
I had to stop playing.
Really?
Like, this is it. Like I love this game.
Really?
But this may be a limit I don't want to go past.
Yeah. I remember the first time they announced this and said you can play as 3 playable characters. I thought that was a terrible, terrible idea. But now I see it's one of the best ideas they could have made.
Mm-hmm.
And it baffles my mind because to this day, when I think of this game, it blows my mind how good it was and how deep it was. Not only the actual single player, but the online play as well is just almost borderline in the MMO itself. But this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So imagine what they have brewing and what they could have the possibility to do now. Because you only have teams, of course, working for Red Dead 2 in 2018. So I'd say in late 2019, we're going to have a GTA 6.
You think so?
And imagine what that's going to do to our brains.
Like I haven't taken full advantage of the online stuff with GTA 5.
Oh, man.
Because it's just Grand Theft Auto Online.
Online,
right?
yeah.
Like
I mean,
it's not...
own, like it's basically an MMORPG. And they still, to this day, have weekly updates and different games. And
this weekend, there's a Memorial Day weekend.
I mean, it's like you go in there on Christmas Day and it's snowy outside. It's like that much attention detail to the server. It's crazy.
Do you know how much money you have left in your?
I don't know. It's a good question because I had that stimulus package. If you were, and whenever GTA 5 released on the PS3 and the 360, they had some massive problems. I think it was like 2 weeks after the game came out. They didn't even launch GTA Online until 2 weeks after.
Right.
And even when they did launch it, massive problems. People couldn't get on for days. If they did, things were wiped out. So if you were a day one adopter of GTA Online, they gave you the stimulus package, which has been a few years, but I believe was $500,000. And it was good and bad because we worked our butts off for, say, $25,000 to get a small rent apartment. But with this $500,000 package, you could buy a huge high-rise penthouse if you wanted.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the things you can do with that. I can only imagine now on the Xbox One and PS4, that would literally blow my mind. I can't imagine.
Remember your alien car?
Oh, yeah. You didn't believe me for a bit.
I know.
I pulled up honking. Me.
And the fun thing with these GTA games, too, is there's fun stuff that you just happen upon. Easter eggs that you just happen upon, like Sasquatch.
Yeah. And like you said, the alien stuff in Grand Theft Auto 5. And it's almost like an urban legend to itself. You ask some people believe it, some don't. But the game is so vast, things can be hidden there from thousands of players.
And something that we've mentioned before, just the idea that not only do you have the map that's like, if you look at this like 3 levels, and the middle level is the ground level of the map, and everywhere you can travel in that world of San Andreas, there's that. Well, you also have to factor in you can fly above all of that.
Oh, yeah.
You can fly the entire map in a helicopter, airplane, jet, whatever you choose. And then there's also many places below the surface where you can go, because there's a body of water.
Yeah.
And so you can actually dive down and go beneath the surface. It's amazing how big that map is.
And the fact that it has no loading times for the most part. I mean, the draw distance you see is fantastic. The graphics themselves are top-notch.
Yeah.
I mean, for something that big, realistically, the graphics should be pretty terrible. But it's huge and fantastic graphics. I mean, it's every minigame itself is a game by itself. I mean, the racing minigames, it could be a racing game.
Yeah, they're just racing games.
The shooters it's a shooter game. It's whatever you want it to be. It can be your game. So
I loved racing the airport.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
the race around the airport?
Yeah.
GTA 5.
Oh, man, I miss the game now.
I
still haven't played on the Xbox One. The last time I played this game was on the 360.
That's the last time I played it.
Man, imagine we should play it now. I'm sure it's like $30-$40.
And go get it for the one and the PS4?
Yeah, we should do that.
I might do that. I'm sure you can get it used pretty cheap.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have the first-person mode now if you want. We'll see.
Good stuff. GTA is definitely my favorite series from Rockstar. And Rockstar may be my favorite game production company.
That's a good thing. So that's the complete works with a heavy emphasis on the GTA series of Rockstar Games.
So other than the GTA Online and all the DLC that they've done for GTA, that's it as far as like Rockstar Games. The last one was 4 years ago with GTA 5.
Yeah, that was it.
That's crazy. And it was the biggest selling game of all time.
Right, yeah.
Right? Is it still that way?
I think as far as retail releases, and you have like Tetris and stuff, which counts as mobile.
Right.
I mean, Tetris was on old Samsung phones back 15 years ago, so that doesn't count. But as far as retail, accountable sales of a physical game, GTA 5 holds it, I believe.
Was it like $500 million within the first couple of weeks?
Well, yeah, it's broken over. I think I'm sure it's over $1 billion now, but at the first few weeks, it was.
That's what I mean.
It was crazy.
Like it was near $500 billion. I remember when we were talking about, or $500 million, when it first came out. Like it was nearing the $1 billion mark not long after.
Yeah, 3 days after release, the game has surpassed $1 billion in sales.
That's
3 days.
What it was.
3 days.
$1 billion. Ridiculous.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So I don't know the actual number now, but I'm sure it's quite up there.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
The complete works of Rockstar Games.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah.
Coming up on Tuesday's show, we're going to continue to revisit the MCU with Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. At first, I had a sigh of disbelief, but now I'm excited we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're also going to do This Week in NWO News with a theory that if you've never heard is going to boggle your mind.
Pretty creepy.
And you will go down the internet rabbit hole looking this stuff up yourself.
Sure
will. It's ridiculous. Check us out online, adamandjp.com.
Facebook.com/AdamandJP. And check out Patreon.com/podcastroll. Some fun stuff on there for sure.
I'm Jay Patrick. That's Adam.
Eat your podcast roll.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.